We are literally destroying our own emotional health based on the fact that we're waiting for someone, another human being, another full grown adult to be the person that they presented themselves to be to us. We are literally bated breath, holding our breath, waiting for a person. Hey, Lynn, thank you for joining. You know, we are waiting for this person to return to the person that we literally fell in love with. So when do you give up the hope? When do you decide to get off of the train that is going in the wrong direction and say, "Hey, I'm on the wrong train. Let me just go back to the station where I originated at, so I can get the correct train." Len, how you doing today? I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Always just hanging in there. It's Monday. Monday is that day. Would you like to add your thoughts to the conversation?
I think you give up when you've done all you can and nothing changes.
Mm. Yes, in a sense, you are correct. In a sense, you are correct. Um, and yeah, that is the turning point. You got to give up. You're right. I had to think about that for a second. You've got to give up where you can make no more excuses. Have you ever? Do you feel you've ever been in a narcissistic dynamic?
I'm in it now.
Oh, you're in it now. So you've actually come to the realization that the person that whoever they are presented themselves to you is not that person, and you've already come to the conclusion that they're not coming back. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, I completely detached.
Okay, okay, that's good. Congratulations. That is the beginning. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your experience where you came to that realization of detaching?
Well, I came to that realization when I tried to help him as much as I possibly could.
Hmm.
I actually had gave up. We gone through counseling, that
Hmm.
didn't help. And then when he knew that I was done, then he came to me and asked me for help. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll try to help you.
Hmm.
So I went to the Lord this time. I gave him Bible verses. We
Okay.
did some sessions. I did everything and still nothing. Still, he would do good for a minute and then he'll
Mm.
go right back to go away.
Yeah, yeah. That is the narcissist way. I'm glad that you got clarity. I'm glad that you got clarity because so many of us empaths we continue to just love, pour out more and more love, and it's to the detriment of ourselves. That's the scary part. We're hurting ourselves to fix another person that refuses to be fixed.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I know at least for me, I'm never going to try to speak for another person, but at least for me, it was a painful realization. I literally felt as if someone just slapped me across the head with a thing of bricks. You know, when I came to that realization, I was devastated, but I knew that I wasn't going to heal until I decided that I'm not going to make excuses for this person anymore. I'm not going to diminish myself any further for a person that, by their very actions, are telling me that I'm not going to help salvage this relationship. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, the relationship is over. And you spoke of the breadcrumbs. You know, this is another narcissist playbook trick where they give you just a little bit of hope. Hey, Jermaine, thank you for joining. Just a little bit of hope that things are going to be all right. They make the promises, the future faking, things will be better because in their minds, you're still relevant supply, you know, and they feel when you're pulling away. They do. They feel when you're pulling away. You don't even have to say it, they can tell. And yeah, they start making these promises. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be a better person. Yes, this relationship is important to me, so forth and so on. But they become nothing more than words. There's no action behind it, or as you said, there's just a minute, just enough to keep you locked in. You know. I mean, would you like to speak on your experience? That's how I felt. I felt like, oh God, no. You
Talking
still,
to me?
yeah, yeah. I was talking to you, Lynn. If you wanted to share how you felt, again, this is a safe space, and sharing actually helps someone else, whether they're just outside the door listening or whether they're in here. I think this is a good way for them to get their own clarity.
Yeah. Well, I had to make a decision. I had to choose me over him. I had to
Mm.
choose my happiness, my peace,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to. And I know in my heart that I had to let that go
Right. Right.
because
And
I wasn't getting anywhere with it, and I was just getting stressed out, and
mm-hmm.
my mood was. I mean, I was a mess.
Yeah. I
So I had to
me
choose
too.
me. Yeah.
Me too. I was a complete mess, and you know, I want more people to understand that you don't have to. There is nothing that ever says that you have to diminish yourself to prove your love to another person. I don't think that there's any rule, any place that says you must devalue yourself, you must diminish yourself. You must let parts of your very identity go away to keep another human being happy. I I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm weird. I always thought that part of being in a relationship is that the goal is to make each other feel fulfilled, to make each other feel happy.
It
Yeah.
is, but a lot of people just don't see it that way.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that because, again, I tend to think that there is a line between dysfunctional, wasn't raised right, and being selfish, and narcissist or narcissism. I think there's really a line. And a lot of people in this day and age they tend to think that anyone that shows toxicity or thank you for staying around, Jermaine, and thank you, Heidi, for joining. Anybody that shows these traits, we tend to, because that seems to be an important subject right now, we say, oh, that's a narcissist. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just a person that just, like I said, wasn't raised right. But when you're looking at a narcissist, person that's not raised right is going to give up as soon as they figure that you're on to them. A narcissist doesn't. A narcissist wants to continue to inflict pain on your very being, on your very soul. Again, it gives them a sense of being superior. It gives them a sense of feeling important. And when you find out that the person that every once in a while says, "Hey, I love you." Hey, Doreen, thank you for joining. Thank you for the likes. I love you. Yeah, I'm in this for the long ride. This, that, and the other. And then one day you wake up and you realize they do something that is just so out of bounds, and then you start piecing the past together, and you start looking at the things that they did previously to you, and then this realization comes like, this person just wants to hurt me. This person doesn't want to help me grow. This person doesn't value this relationship. Hey, Jen, thank you for joining. This person doesn't value me.
Right.
It's crazy. It really is. It's saddening too. We have so many empaths out here that just want to love and be loved. And I don't think, our time in this reality, our time on this realm with each other should be filled with love and happiness. It should be filled with joy. It should be filled with peace. Now, it's not going to be that 100% of the time because sometimes our struggles make us stronger. It makes us identify where we can become better. And sometimes when we have a partner that helps us figure out those things that we need to work on to become a better version of ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves in that relationship, that's a wonderful freaking thing. However, there's a dark side to this. There's a person that doesn't want you to get better. They're jealous of the fact that you can. So they're not going to support your growth as a normal, non-disorder having person would do in a relationship. They're not gonna support you becoming better. That makes them feel inferior to you in their mind. They can no longer feel superior if you're going out there and you're smashing your goals and you're doing great things and you're helping other people and you have people looking up to you. No, that's an injury to them. That is something that makes them feel horrible. And what they do is, and I think the psychological term is, they go out of their way to punish you. You know? Go ahead, speak your piece, because it's just a few of us in here, but I appreciate those of you who are. I really do. You know, and my buddy is here. I think I saw my buddy. Let's see if she comes in. Hey, Nartos, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's a classic Monday. We have Lynn. Lynn has been sharing her experiences. Um,
Hello, Lynn. Hey.
and I am actually literally still stuck in one of the things that I put on my course, one of the, I think they call it phrases or catchphrases, is healing starts when hope ends.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, and that hit me. That really hit me. That made me really put everything into the bucket where it belongs. You know, and I think, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the word hope itself kind of puts power into like a future hope. I hope it happens. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Go ahead and explain what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Well, but let's ask Lynn. Let's ask Lynn because she and I salute her. She finally has come out of that giving hope. You know, to her. I'm not even gonna say part. I don't even know what word to say about this anymore. Um, because I think it's a disorder, so I can't think, say partner, relationship, husband, wife. Those I don't think those terms fit when you're dealing with a narcissist. But go ahead, Lynn. 'Cause I'll talk forever. Go ahead.
I don't know. I lost hope. I mean, I tried. I tried everything that I could. So after you try so many times, then
Mm-hmm.
people just keep pushing up buttons, and it's like you don't matter,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this fake persona, and they want to act like they are God given, and it
Yes.
just takes a toll. So at some point, you just have to say, no, you just have to stop and say, this is enough. Enough is enough.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. What do you have to say, non talks?
Well, you said one word. You said they acting like they are the most amazing actors.
Mm-hmm.
They put on a show, but eventually that mask falls off, and we
Mm-hmm.
see it over and over again, and we eventually realize that it only gets worse because every time they come back, you've lowered your standards for what is a real relationship.
Yes.
So
That
I
is
mean,
the good.
it's nothing to be ashamed of, but because I went through that too, where I'm like, I keep letting him back, and I started beating myself up for it.
Mm-hmm.
But they are acting. They know exactly what you want because
Mm-hmm.
you've told them, hey,
Yep.
this is what I expect out of a real relationship. This is what I want from a partner. And they're like, oh, okay. And I swear he was taking notes. He had a file on me. I swear. Every time he came back, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Wow. Anyway.
No, you're right. You're right. It feels like, you know what? Once you figure out the data collection thing, you feel violated. You feel violated because you gave your trust. You gave the inner parts pieces of your soul because once again, you think this is your soulmate, and you think about. Thank you for the share. I appreciate that, Narc Talks. But you look at it and you say, I've given you all the tools necessary for my own destruction because I thought you had potential. I thought that you were my soulmate. I thought that I could bring you back. And how much stress is there in this world? And there is a lot of stress in this world. Don't get it confused. This world is a stress bucket. Okay? But how much stress does it take for your partner to look at you as the opposition? I don't think there's enough stress in the world. I don't. That by itself is base betrayal. The person that you sleep next to, the person that you break bread with, the person that you everything with, they decide that you become the and they don't tell you. They don't even have the decency to say, you know what? I'm going to add a new wrinkle to our relationship. Let's just be in competition for the rest of our lives.
That would be nice.
That would would it not? You know, that way at least you can say, nah, I don't want that. That's not how I view a relationship. But they don't give you that option. They play this top secret agent, making James Bond look like he just came out of MI6 training school, and they confuse and they make you think you're crazy. I mean, what do you guys think about this?
Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, my husband, soon to be ex-husband, always try to make it act like I'm making up things or I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. He's not doing what I'm seeing him doing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yep.
Way too much. Way too much.
Yep. No, I agree with you. Go
That's
ahead.
that gaslighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then eventually you start questioning your own reality. I mean, in a way you do. I mean, not so much, but there's
No,
parts of it.
all it takes is a little time, one time.
Yeah. And then you're outside of your true power, which is, you're fully intact human being.
Right.
And you know that your safety is guarded by yourself.
Yes. And why do we give that up again? Oh yeah, I forgot. We truly believe that we're in love with a person that loves us. You know, part of what empaths do is I think I can speak for myself, I can't speak for everyone else. I feel that for a relationship to be fulfilling, you must be somewhat vulnerable. Okay? You've got to be willing to open up and share pieces of yourself because this helps the relationship grow. It does. Your vulnerabilities, you sharing with your partner, these are my fears. Because you hope your greatest wish is that your partner will make sure that those fears never become a reality. Okay? Your hope is when you say, I struggle with this and I want to get better with this, your partner will be the one that says, you know what? I'm going to help you become better at this. Hold on one second. Doreen says, I was married to a narcissist. He would turn people against me to everyone behind my back. It sounds par for the course, but I'll let you ladies chime in on that one for Doreen. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
You want to go?
that's what they usually do. That's what they do. They smear campaign you. They tell all kinds of lies.
Mm-hmm.
They do all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're always the victim, and you're always the problem.
Yep. Lord knows.
And
Lord
it's a
knows.
sign that they are losing control. They feel like they're losing control over you.
Yes, they do. They do. They do feel like they're losing control, and that causes them to panic. Again, it goes against what a relationship should kind of be.
Hey, Scott.
Go- Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so I think that, and you guys are bringing up some really, really good points. I'm just sharing this out because I need to get some people in this room to understand this message. And thank you guys for answering this for Doreen. Part of what they do, I'm going to be honest with you, is the triangulation is to make you stay off balance. Okay. And she mentioned that her narcissist would do this behind her back. Okay. It kind of throws you for a loop when someone you were cool with or someone you had, conversations with and friendly conversations all of a sudden is giving you the side eye. So you don't know why, and the narcissist isn't going to tell you, "Oh yeah, I was just in the store and I was telling them about all the horrible things that I did to you," but I flipped it and acted like you did the horrible things to me. So yeah, you're going to find that the triangulation is made just to keep you off balance, and when they need to exit stage left, they've left a paper trail of what a horrible person that you are. Okay, the whole world, because again, this is where hope screws us over. The relationship might have been over in the narcissist's mind for the last 2 months. For the last 2 months, guess what they've been doing? Damage control. Because they got to protect their mask on the way out. And guess how they do damage control? They're going to go out there and smear your name to anybody who will listen. Okay. Go ahead. Lynn wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. What do you guys say about this, Scott?
It's important you understand that the whole relationship was a lie. That
Right.
they wanted to destroy you since day one.
Yep. Yep. And I think I harp on this subject because I can guarantee that some people have awakened to the fact that something is wrong with this person that sleeps next to me. There's something wrong in this relationship. I just can't put my finger on it. And when they begin to start seeing just a little bit more clearly, because narcissists are very impulsive and they're very egotistical and they feel that they're superior to you. So if they get away with something, usually they're going to test the limits. Well, excuse me, can I take this just a little bit further? Because their pain makes me feel really good, makes me feel exciting, you know. And usually, one of those times the mask just cracks, you see them, you become horrified. But many of us just sit back and look and be like, eh, you know what? They just lost their job, or they just got written up at work, or,
They want us to feel bad for them.
right, right,
They want that sympathy.
right, right. And at what point, again, I go back to the front of the ranch. At what point would you feel that you need to raise another full adult to understand what the bare minimums are, not only in life but in an interpersonal relationship? I'm gonna let you guys take that over. Me be me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's it. I mean, that's what it eventually be. It is, especially for an empath,
Mm-hmm.
is that we're able to. Yeah, that's the funny thing is that even as they're in our face abusing us, we still have compassion for them to go, oh, okay, so this is related to your past trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And we could call it out in that moment, but we just want them to finally feel at ease or something,
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they put that, we think that power is in our hand. I don't think it really truly is, because I think they are just playing us, and because we think that what we say is going to deeply affect them,
Mm-hmm.
it more than likely isn't, because they have nothing to. They're not going to take that what we say to them and actually do some inner work. And go, oh,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I see. Okay.
Our empathy against ourselves.
Yes.
They weaponize it. Yes, you're
They
correct.
are not human people. I mean, they have been dead since they became narcissists.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get to these people. Doreen says yes, he died, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's strange. And listen, if this gives you closure, if this gives you a good feeling, I'm completely with you. I'm on board with you. But I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I'm going to answer in a second. Me be me. In fact, I'm going to let our panel answer that. This is the empath in me. The first thing when I read that, the first thing that came to my mind was nobody deserves to die. And that's how deep. This is the difference between us and the narcissist. See, the narcissist, like I said often, if there's nobody around to see it, they will walk over your lifeless corpse, go get something to drink, fix a sandwich, and say, how long do I have to call before I have to call somebody to let them know that this person just became unalive? So yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna let you answer that question because I see Kayla. Thank you for answering, but I think it goes just a wee bit deeper than that. And thank you for joining. Do you guys want to take that over? She says, basically, are narcissists born that way? I know you guys know the answer. Let's go ahead and start with Narc Talks.
I think think they are born into families that are probably narcissists themselves. And yeah, I think it just spreads throughout each generation. Now everyone can have a choice in the matter and say, I'm either choosing the life of the living, or I'm going to go ahead and go down this dark path with these narcissists.
Right.
They make at some point you make a choice.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And I saw this is personal, but I saw my brothers make the choice of choosing the wrong path. And I remember a specific time in my life where the Creator Himself said, "Hey, this is where you're going to end up if you play this game.
Right.
You can go down this path, or you can go down this path. You know." But I saw that there was nothing for me on that path. It was just death and destruction, chaos. It was darkness, and at that point, that's when I chose to save myself, even though my whole family was caught up in this chaos.
Right.
And now I'm the black sheep now.
Oh, of course. Another sign of narcissistic abuse.
I'm out of there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Congrats. What do you have to say, Scott?
Narcissists are made mostly, but psychopaths are born.
Okay.
So if there's a psychopath, they've been a psychopath since birth.
Okay.
Or before birth.
Okay. Little pieces of the brain that form.
So sociopaths and narcissists, they tend to go through trauma, and they tend to go through a very toxic family system.
Yep.
I completely agree with Narc Talks.
Okay. So, and we're allowed. This is a safe space. So, I love the discourse. Lynn, would you like to add on to this?
Well, honestly, I can't answer that question and I can't have compassion for him because of the fact that I tried to get into his head and ask him, like, what did you go through as a child?
Oh, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you.
No.
You got to kind of figure it out on your own once you know their family. They're not going to tell you. But those were all. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lynn.
He said he didn't go through anything, so I can't have compassion or try to, have compassion for a person that I just don't have a clue to what you went through because you're not.
Right. No, that makes perfectly good sense. So me be me 63, and I see Kayla's helping out. Okay, you guys are both right. And just to answer this question, not everybody turns into a narcissist. The flip side of a narcissist, believe it or not, is an empath. That's why you see some people go through trauma in their childhood, and as our good friend Nartalk said, they make a choice. See, everything in this reality in this dimension hinges upon the choices that we make. The narcissist decided at a very early age, when they were introduced to this trauma, that hey, this hurt me really bad, but you know what? Even at this young age, I don't want to deal with it. I don't. Okay. And as they get older, they want people to pay for the fact that they went through this trauma, this said trauma. Okay. Whereas the empath, what they're going to do is, I don't know. They just asked to be invited and I can't find them. I'm sorry. What they do is that the empath, I lost my train of thought trying to bring somebody in. The empath decides, you know what? I went through this was hellified. This was a crazy ride. You know what? I don't want anybody to go through this. So narcissists and empaths are more closely linked than most people want to accept. They both went through trauma. They both had to make a choice. And people don't understand. I hear people say this all the time. It seems like I keep on attracting them. It seems like wherever I go, there's a narcissist up in my face. There's a reason for that. We are magnetically attracted to each other. Because believe it or not, when you met your narcissist, you kind of felt deep down inside that something was a little bit off about them. And then they started telling you victim stories. Then you want to become their savior. And yes. And then you want to save them. So this is, so right. So me be me, and hopefully I've answered your question. And Kayla, thank you for helping out. I appreciate that. I try to make this into a safe space. With that being said, I think I really need to say that there are people going through many different stages of healing. So I think we have to be aware of that, not just the people that are on board as far as speaking, but I think we all need to be aware of that. I think I was in one last week and people were saying, "Oh, you're stupid," and you need people. They're going to be at different stages of healing through this journey. You know,
Yes.
and just like you didn't want to be shamed when you first came out of it, I don't think anybody else should be shamed. So that's going to be like a kind of a ground rule. Even I have stopped cursing as much as I do with my ordained self. I did. I did stop. But, with that said, and me be me, she's active in here. Psych nurse and never treated a narcissist because they did not need help. Very difficult. No, in their minds, they don't think they need help. Most narcissists will not. Yeah, they won't go and get diagnosed. They won't. The Lee Hammonds out there are rare and far apart. What do you guys think about that?
It's only Lee Hammock because he wants to be Lee Hammock. He wants to be
Right.
the best healed narcissist.
Right. Well, like I said, yeah, even he admits that he's not healed. He just wants to understand.
Of course. But
Which is, I salute him for that.
He's still competing with other
It's a
narcissists.
new mask.
Yeah, there you go. I know what the hell I'm doing to everybody. And I know the reason why now.
He wants that attention.
Yeah.
He has like millions of followers because he wants that attention.
Yeah, and I don't blame him because he's bringing value to these
He's better than other
rooms.
narcissists, I guess.
Yeah, he's bringing value to the rooms. He still says that he falls back. He knows he has to catch himself. He knows that, like I said a couple of weeks ago, he says, "I know I'll always be a narcissist. I just know the mechanics of how my mind works." What? Hold on one second. What do you guys think about the fact that narcissists will never seek help?
I think that they won't do it because that would admit there's something wrong with them and it takes away their power because they want to feel like they're in charge and in control.
Yes.
And even if they do have to go to like a therapist or seek counseling or something, they're going to convince them in some way that they are fine. Like, no, everything's good here.
Well, they're the kings of manipulation and queens of manipulation.
Narcissist is surrounded by an entourage of enablers. As long as they have enablers, they will never get help. They have to hit rock bottom before they even contemplate.
You know what? I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is because as I understand the narcissistic injury more, and Doreen says there is no cure. You are correct. As I understand this dynamic more, I think the only way that a narcissist can be destroyed is when they get that narcissistic injury that just turns them into a blithering idiot. Because their brain can't wrap around that energy. And I think we were someplace else in another room talking about the dark empath, and I don't sign off on dark empaths, never will. But I think they are the ones that can give that crushing blow to the narcissist because they play the game as well as they do. What do you guys think about that?
I personally think that we should just not fight. I think we should just focus on ourselves, protect ourselves, have boundaries, go no contact. First of all, go no contact with these narcissists because these people just want chaos.
Right. What do you think, Lynn?
I agree. In my experience, I go no contact.
Very
but
good.
then he'll try to do any and everything to get a reaction out of me, whether it's negative or positive.
Right.
Sometimes that works, and you set boundaries, but they will just look over those boundaries sometimes. But then you got to put them in their face.
Right.
You got to let them know, you can't cross those boundaries.
Yeah. And what do you think about this, Knock Talk?
I have so many thoughts right now. So the question was the dark empath.
Well, that was part of the question, and I do not sign off on the dark empath. It was more about the way people want to start. They wake up and they say, "I want to make the narcissist pay."
Just make them irrelevant.
Yeah. I do think that it's easy to slip into that because also because you've seen them and you know what their weaknesses are too.
Right.
You know how to destroy them, but as an empath, you choose not to.
Right.
As a dark empath, you go for it, and
Yeah.
I think that takes a lot of energy,
It
lot
does.
of work that I need to be directing into my own self,
Right.
and healing myself and getting myself back to the place where I was before they waltzed into my life.
Right. Right. I don't like the dark empath because what happens is, and I
As
get
toxic as a narcissist.
right, they are, and I think what it does is it gives false hope, because you'll have people that say, well, I got attracted and got stuck in this because I am an empath. Let me go study the other side of the force and become a dark empath. What you're basically doing is your best bet is to work on yourself. I never say to anyone, go get revenge, make them pay, get your lick back, because it doesn't help you. You will spend more time, right, and you will spend more time playing the game with them. And here's the deal. Oh, no problem, blessed. You can come in if you want. You can what happens is you become the monster to destroy the monster. You are putting all of your energy to become a monster to destroy the monster. So how is that helping you? You're worse off than what you were. You were probably a very nice person. You're we know that you're a loving, caring person, or you would have left a long time ago.
By engaging the narcissist in their ways,
Mm-hmm.
the narcissist wins because they want to bring you down.
Yeah. Yeah. And hey, Jess, what's up?
They want that reaction from you. They want that
right.
anger from you.
Right.
They want that.
I want to see you turn to the dark side.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Luke. But
they want to be right about you.
Well, they I think part of the dynamic, and this is just my interpretation of what I've studied. I think part of the dynamic is near the end, they want to. In the beginning, they thought you think you're all that, you think you can do this, this, and this. You're not better than me because they feel superior to everyone. Okay. So what happens is near the end of the relationship, when they finally discard you or talk you into doing a reverse discard, they want you to mirror some of their traits so they can be able to say, you're no better than me. In fact, you're just like me. And we find ourselves actually picking up those traits that we have suffered through for so long. We find ourselves blowing up. We sometimes find ourselves, yeah, but we sometimes find ourselves happy about other people's pain. We also find ourselves manipulating people because 99.9% of empaths are intelligent. So yeah, the longer you play the game with the narcissist, the deeper you go without a chance of coming back out. And I think this is another reason why many survivors go like this is because they don't like what they've become. It's not just because they were hurt. Their very core being has been swapped out for something that they don't even recognize.
Yes.
Mm.
Which is why healing is so important.
Yes. And guys, Scott and Blessing, I'm going to send it to you too. I'm going to bring it to the group. I got caught up. TikTok screwed me on my course. I couldn't get it uploaded. It kept on failing on me. So I will get that to you this evening. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's again, it's another way to be of assistance, and I think it's another way to help. I mean, I think we do a lot on these lives. I think we reach people that really need to hear this message, and more importantly, understand it. Because I think it's the easiest way for us to make sense out of something that shouldn't make sense. What do you guys think?
I think the more we meet and talk, the better, because we're actually helping a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We're saving lives.
Yeah. Well, we're just I don't even think I'm saving lives. I think I'm being like Blue's Clues. I'm just pointing people in the right direction.
Yeah, which save lives.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Ultimately,
Yes.
their own, and and it's such a hard thing to snap out of.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. But like, the more clues you leave, it's gonna show up on their FYP.
Oh, thank you,
Aligned
Jess.
with it, it's gonna become part of their algorithm.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm at the point where I'm totally immersed in this narcissistic abuse awareness, and it's been coming and going for the past 4 years. Ever since I realized, okay, what is this?
Right. Right.
This is a narcissist.
Right.
And then just watching.
What the hell is that? It's a narcissist. Damn.
Yeah.
You know. Thank you, Jess. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the likes. But yeah, I mean, this is what this is the goal, and you brought up a very important word. It all hinges on choice. You know, that's like my mantra through life. You know, choice controls everything.
And that's why I don't feel bad for the narcissist, because adults are responsible for their actions.
Yeah, their choices. Their choices.
And I don't care if you have childhood trauma.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to fix that.
Right.
And to manage it and to actually go through trauma recovery and just actually go through the motions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Responsible for their own lives.
Lynn, you was about to say something. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, I agree that they're responsible for their own lives. I mean, you can fix yourself if you try.
Yeah.
You want to be fixed. If you want to change.
Right, but they don't want to change. They don't. There's too much power there. And thank you so much, Doreen and Jess. Thank you very much for that, because it makes me feel better and it makes me keep on doing what I'm doing. But yeah, I really think that the narcissists, they've to them and their disordered mind, they think that they have stacked upon the criterion in the DSM-5, and they feel that they are superior to everyone else because of the things that they can do. Hey, blessed, that the things that they can do to other human beings. And I've never understood, not even with the love and relationship part, but the fact that there's people out there that wake up and they just say, you know what, so that I don't have to continue to feel miserable, let me see if I can make somebody else feel miserable. That's the sad part about it.
They want to get in your mind, and they do little things to get into your mind, and they destroy you over years.
Right.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. What do you have to say about this, Blessed 456? She ain't gonna say nothing. She ain't gonna say nothing. Okay. What do you have to say? What do you want to? What do you guys have to? Because Doreen says to be humane. I think that's what got us messed up. You know, she said she had to take another call. I think that's what.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to say that. Like, I don't want to demonize them.
Right.
But in a way, you have to separate everything. Like, okay, I'm a good person.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
Because they can get by on so much of you. Like being humane. Well, you can't go to the extreme of like a dark empath. That's not.
Yeah.
You have to cut them off and heal. Focus on yourself. Focus on your needs and your desires.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you can't win the game by playing it with them. You can't.
You lose the game by playing their
game. Right. Because you have to remember, you being
yourself, exactly.
Right.
Play yourself.
But
you play their game. You play yourself.
Right. And
they want you to play their game.
Right.
They want you to go after them. They want you to act like a fool.
Yep. You're so correct. The
guy used to say funny things to him, and I mean, it was my reactive abuse, and it wasn't funny. It was really, it came from a place of complete anger, and so I would try to destroy him with my words, and he would just laugh at me.
Yeah.
He would laugh and laugh, and he thought it was so funny, like, because I would come up with the most creative disses.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, you guys bring it up, makes that.
They do.
Yeah, at one point he said, fuck it, let's just be toxic together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
They want that.
Come over to the dark side, Luke. That's literally that's what they're saying. They want because they get to
That's
walk.
why they cheat on you, and then they whip the new supply in your face because they want that reaction. They want that
Right,
competition. They want
right,
that chaos.
right.
They want chaos.
And I think we forget. We tend to forget as empaths. The reason why we get angry at them is because we cared about them. That is the main reason. We literally cared. We wanted the relationship
And
to
they're
work.
destroying their own life.
Right. And what you soon find out is when you get angry and you start just like Naruto says, you come up with darts, you know how to hold your ground, but it's not hurting them because we tend to forget that we've gone through life caring about people. They've gone through
They're not
life.
wired like us.
Yeah, they're not built. Yeah, they're not built like us. They're not wired like us. They want to hurt people. So when you're playing the game with them, you're basically giving them supply. It's like, look at you, trying to be a little dark person. Oh, you so cute.
That emotional supply,
Yeah,
They don't think
They
like
tap
us.
into our emotions.
right. So they feel.
That's why I got a heart murmur.
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore.
I'm.
It's dissipated, but
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I would feel my heart just like vibrating. I
Right.
was so upset.
Right.
And my heart would start vibrating, and then I got all these gray. I'm not saying like I shouldn't have gray hairs, but I don't think I should have this many gray hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think my body should have been kind of like, oh well, we're just done here. Let's start a new life. Like, I'm out.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah,
God.
a lot of people talk about this, but narcissistic abuse attacks our physical health too.
Yeah, it does. I know it does. Yeah.
It's like it's a holistic assault on our minds and bodies.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. And they want as they say, the full enchilada. They want to destroy you on so many different fronts that basically, if one front doesn't work as fast as they need it to, they can switch gears to another front. They know that they're. I mean, mines. I used to say, I was like, I can't argue with anymore because every time I get upset, it makes my blood pressure go up. It makes the pressure in this eye go up, and I lose like a percentage of my vision inside. So I'm not going to argue with anymore. Yeah, that became a free pass to start an argument every moment. I think, again, that op thing. I'm a creative. I do video. I freaking, I'm a photographer. I like to write books, and it became a point where I really felt that it served her best interest if I went blind. It seemed like and that's to say that about another human being, even me saying it, but I know it's a fact because that would make them feel superior to me. That, oh, you can't take pictures anymore, so what can you do better than me? Oh, you can't write books anymore, what can you do better than me? Yeah, and then I felt as if, okay, she's back, blessed, there you go. But then I felt that, again, in a relationship, especially once you reach the age of 40, you're not playing for a couple of weeks. You're trying to look at the long term. And I really, as they say, I put my eggs in that basket. But again, once you give up hope, I realized, I said, well, if I go blind, this person ain't going to take care of me. This person is literally going to leave me to the wolves, except when they send that check.
Absolutely.
And again, I think Blessed 456 said this, that radical acceptance, and that's the only way you can move forward. And that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, I've got to take a different route with this. I got to take a different route with this, with myself, because what's the sense of staying there if, something happens to me? I can't depend on this person. And my grown kids live like.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. There you go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I want to share a story with you.
Please.
If it's okay.
Go ahead.
And it just strikes me in the narcissism realm. Someone called me and told me about the story that there was a woman. She was in her 60s, and her daughter was in her 40s. And I'm guessing the neighbors didn't see the daughter come home for a couple days, and so they called for welfare.
Well check.
When they went in, I can't remember what state it was, but when they went in to check on what was going on in the home,
the woman's skin had started growing to the bed.
Oh my God.
There was no, they were not washing her and cleaning her, and this could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And so we gotta leave when you find out what's going on. Of course, leave silently, leave carefully, but you gotta go. Yeah. You have to leave. Nothing is not going to change if they have no accountability and ask them a question. As soon as you ask them something, they're done blowing you. You know? Yeah. They're changing the question, and then they're mad at you for asking the question. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think?
If you can't talk to your mate or whomever it is, your family member, whomever it is, about how you're feeling, and they don't push it right back on you. Right. And then try to make it seem like it's your fault. There's something wrong with that. Yeah. And we all know it's something wrong with it, but then we're like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But once you see it and you know that's what it is, if you ignore it, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to turn out well for you. Yeah.
I'm sorry I laughed. I was thinking about that's how we treat puppies at the shelter. Like, oh, look at it. Oh, it's got a couple of bruises. I can make it feel better. That's what we do. But literally, that's what we're doing when you think about it. That's literally what we're doing. You know? Oh my God.
The only people we can help are the people who want help.
Right. But you can but you have to deal with what you know. See, that is the defining point. There are so many people that have no clue because they're basing this on a regular human being. They're not basing it on this predator. They're not basing it on someone that has a disorder. You know, so that's why I try not to, come at people like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, you saw this, this, and this. What the hell do you think is going on? It's like, well, how do you feel about that? How does it make you feel?
Yes.
I think people should kind of come to that, you know what, this don't feel right. And that's the beginning. And believe it or not, and we all do this, everything starts with a conversation. I'm not going to say you're going to get clarity from the narcissist, but you'll get a clue of what you're dealing with once you try to sit down and have that serious conversation with you. Yeah, when you say, hey, something's not right here. What can we do to make this better? And the responses should kind of cinch what you're going through. What do you guys think?
If you don't mind, I think that your platform is really for people when they figure it out, when they halfway figure it out, and then they come across your platform.
Okay.
Because you're in your mind and you're thinking something is wrong. I just can't put my finger on it. Right. Then you start seeking knowledge and you start listening.
Right.
That's what happened with Lee Hammock with me. I was listening to another lady and she was really good.
Let me guess, clarity over chaos.
Something else.
The girl with the braids, clarity over chaos.
No, it's
okay.
She had 2 boys, and she was with her husband for like 20 years or something.
Oh my
like
God,
that.
yeah.
I cannot remember her, but she always says, "Peace, go to peace." I can't remember her name. She's
right now.
Okay, because I stopped listening to her a while back, but
no, whenever.
She was the first one. Yeah, she was the first one that caught my listening ear.
Okay.
So what happened is I have Amazon Music.
Okay.
And I started like looking for narcissism because like I said, I'm a psych student. I was a psych student.
Okay.
And I kept thinking the DSM-4, and I kept looking. I'm like,
no,
that's not quite it. Because covert narcissism is just a little bit different than the grandiose.
Right.
And
a little bit.
And they're very passive aggressive people. And so you don't know what you don't know what you don't know until you know what you know.
Right.
And it's sort of like you're in a fairy tale type of breadcrumbing, in and out, back and forth,
to say something, that kind of clicks.
Makes it make
And
sense.
so makes it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what brought me on to the narcissism platforms and channels and all of that, because I was searching for something else, and when I listened to her first, I'm like, that's it,
Right.
because I thought I was going crazy at first.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Just like you.
Yeah. Well, what do you have to say about all
So
of
for
this,
lack
Lynn?
of knowledge.
Yeah. No, you're right. What do you have, before I get to Doreen? What do you have to say about this, Lynn? Okay, Lynn.
No, I agree.
Oh,
I
okay.
agree totally. Yeah, it's crazy, but this is how they are.
Yeah.
Don't change them.
And Doreen, yeah, I'm sorry about your Charles, Doreen. I really am. You know, I think we, as empaths, and I don't know how people are going to take this, but I think we need to do better. And what I mean by that is we've got to start focusing on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, I really do. And it's not just about narcissism. I think this is why we get caught in these dynamics, because we're just going around all we can fix the world and singing kumbaya.
You want to give of yourself.
Right.
You really do. You want to give the best to people.
Yeah.
But once you wake up, you think, oh, I need to give the best to me first. I need to fill my cup up first.
There you go.
Before I try to, I have to give from my overflow. I can't give from my cup.
Yeah.
I have to give from my overflow.
Right.
And the other thing is that this behavior is very familiar to us because they're family members. When you were young, probably you had to take care of yourself, and not because these circumstances lead from, you might have had a mother who was not able to give you the love and the caring and the understanding, because she was trying to think for herself,
right,
or a father or a grandfather. It might not have been someone who just.
It might be completely unintentional, but you went through
Yes,
right,
because that person needed something.
Right.
They just couldn't give you the emotional attention that you needed. So you ended up having your own world, taking care of your own self, maturing in that, and you didn't want anybody else to feel that way.
Right.
And so now we're projecting it outward and trying to help other people, but we're trying to fix ourselves.
Right.
Still.
Right. Well,
absolutely.
This is why I'm on this mission to at least make everyone at the bare minimum aware of what narcissism is because it's what you just said. We have people, our trauma came from people that just didn't know what to do, or, they were narcissists or whatever. But what's happening is when we look at those people, they're not going to bring anything of value to the world. They're not. It's the empath that's going to do that. And that's why I need this to, oh my God, I have little ones, so I don't want them to grow up in a dysfunctional world. I don't want to have to sit down and one of the talks has to be, this is how you spot a narcissist, because they're probably out to get you. I don't want to have, I don't think that talk should be mandatory. I don't think it should be necessary. But it only happens once we completely, like I started out with this last year, we completely dismantle the mask. We let people know that, that's what these are, what these things are, and we should be, just like they're parasites, we should be able to identify them just like we can identify a mosquito, a tick, or a flea. What do you guys think about that?
I think it all starts with us. I think if we do our self work and we focus on ourselves, our needs, our boundaries, everything.
Yeah.
The narcissist is powerless.
Right.
The toxic abuser is pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no power over us. If we take our power back and we teach others to take care of themselves, the narcissist will just run away.
Yeah, wither away.
And they will just abuse themselves with other narcissists.
Yeah, basically. That would be the best case scenario for me.
I think Scott is on to something there. It's really about taking care of yourself and noticing when you're taking care of someone else and it's not reciprocal.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it starts. That you're not getting back the love that you're putting out, but you keep going, you keep going, you keep because in the beginning when they're love bombing you, they're not who they really are. So it's bait and switch to begin with. But if you're going 6 months to a year and you're still not getting back the reciprocity that you've given out, there's something wrong with that.
Right, but that's what they need to. Go ahead.
It does take that connection with yourself that they destroy from the beginning of it, because they get you to be outside of yourself and dissociated.
Right.
But if you can stop and you can notice where they are taking those power moves over you, it's just in conversation. It's the slightest thing they'll do to make you feel invisible, silent.
Yep.
And like we can brush it off and be like, oh well, they had a bad day,
right?
Or there was a misunderstanding. Eventually, like you said, you realize it's a year in. You're like, this is not.
This is not what I envisioned.
But yeah, it's those little slights.
Yeah. What do you have to say about this, Lynn?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it gets worse over time. The more you let things slide, the worse it's gonna get.
Yep. You.
Yeah.
Nothing
is ever good enough for them.
Yeah.
They'll just take, and they'll still be ungrateful because they'll just take.
Well, they're not givers.
They're not givers.
They're not givers.
They're out for power.
Yeah.
It's a con game.
Yeah.
Everything is transitional with them.
Transactional.
So they do something.
And transitional. Yeah, both.
Transactional.
Yeah.
I'm in transactional. But yes, thank you.
No.
Everything is transactional. They do something for you.
Yeah.
They expect for you to do something.
You're right.
It keeps going and going and going and going. But the thing is that because we're empaths, we don't notice that you're not getting reciprocity until later on down the line when they triangulate you and they do things to you to get a reaction from you.
Yep.
And that's when you really start realize, hey, this is not right.
Yep.
And then that's when you start really searching for answers.
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead, guys.
But I do believe that this is a worldwide waking up.
I've been waiting all year for this. The big narcissistic collapse.
There's a lot of people who are finally waking up to this demonic.
Yeah, they're waking up, but it's not slowing their progress down. There would be no need for people like us to be up here talking about this if we were making a dent on this. I mean, it's like waiting for the rapture at this stage. I mean, every 75.
You're definitely making a difference because we had 6 right here. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? We have 9 today. And so as people wake up, they're looking for information, and when they come across your page, you're like, okay, what is this? Like like we all did. What is this? And it may make a difference.
Mr. Robinson does have a good point though, because they do stay one step ahead of you.
Yeah.
They know your next move.
And they do that because
it's a cycle.
Well,
it's their life. It's a cycle.
Why do you think they're able to do it? It's because at our core level, we care. See, they can't do it to a person that doesn't care. A person that's just out there trying to get their rocks off. They can't do it to a person like that. Okay? Because that person has no skin in the game. We do as empaths. We always have skin in the game. Like I said, after 30, you're not looking for. It's not like you're 18 and clubbing again. You're really looking for something that's stable. Yeah, you guys. What I have to do is because I gotta get ready to speak to my girls, but I want you guys to give your best advice to someone who's just coming out of the fog. Let's start with Lynn.
Best advice?
Yeah, your best advice.
My best advice would be not feed into the message.
Okay, I like that. Let's go around the board. Go ahead, knock.
Um, just start doing. This is what I usually say. Start doing small things for yourself, just to remind yourself that you are the one who's in charge, and that will eventually reset your nervous system, and you can change your neuroplasticity. They've gotten you to a point where your neuroplasticity is that goes towards them, but you can change it so you replace their love with your own self love.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. I love that. Thank you for joining, Shay. Go ahead, Scott. What you got for us?
Start with boundaries. Even small boundaries.
Okay.
Just like start somewhere. Have some resistance. Have some boundaries. And behind those boundaries, start taking care of yourself. Take a walk. Do like watch the TV shows that you want to watch. Go out with your friends. Go and hang out with your family.
Yep.
Because they want to isolate you.
Mm-hmm.
So do you. Figure out what makes you happy. Determine that and go do it. This is your life. You're the captain of your own ship.
I like
They
that.
want to sink you. Don't let your ship
Oh,
sink.
thank you, Nog Talks. Thank you, Nog Talks. Blessed, what do you have to? Your best advice for someone just coming out of the fog?
Notice the energy that people give you. If you feel like someone is, after you have a conversation or you're with them, if you feel like your energy is being depleted, that they're probably not good for you, especially when you come out the fog. But if they're adding to you and you feel good about, that would probably be someone that you want to keep in your circle.
Yep.
And keep your circle small. Keep your circle small. And then, like I said, notice the energy that you're getting from that person.
I love that.
Or if they're taking energy from you, if you feel depleted after a conversation or after a meeting with them, you probably need to, go ahead and start either gray rocking them or no contact with them.
Yep.
Yeah, pay attention to how you feel.
Yep.
Not how you feel.
Yep.
How you feel. Pay attention to how you feel.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The easiest way that I can put this is for people to actually you're going to have to dismantle what's fantasy and what's reality. There's no way around it, and we deep down inside we know what fantasy is. Okay, not many of us still believe in Santa Claus. Okay, it served its purpose then.
Oh, really? I thought he existed.
No.
Really?
We're gonna have a long talk after this, Scott.
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't want to blow this for anybody, but but yeah, I mean, most of us still do not believe in Jolly Saint Nick, but that's because we came to accept the reality of it. This is the same thing you have to do with your life. You have to accept the reality of what's going on. As everybody here said at some point, if it feels uncomfortable, you might need to investigate it because it could be your inner self telling you, "I'm not happy here."
Your body always knows first.
Yeah. So yeah, with that being right. So with that being said, I'm always going to tell people is just start, just sit down and go in a room by yourself, go in the bathroom if you have to, and just decide what's fantasy and what's reality. Because once you can figure that out, it becomes that much easier to let go. It really does. So I want to thank all of you guys, okay, for joining me. I'll try to get on tonight at 8. I'll try. Scott, Blessed, and Knock, I'll send that stuff to you. Lynn, it's just a project that we're working on. I don't want you to feel left out. But I want you guys, as always, stay powerful, keep healing. And the reason why I do this, love you guys. Have a great rest of your Monday, everyone. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I still can't shut it off. There you go.